That's me. It's the only thing that's like pretty special.
Yeah, he's going to reapply. Well, we're talking about he's going to reapply. If he doesn't, he'll get reappointed. If he doesn't,
He was just giving me a heads up because
because he's going to
Really?
that would be Sarah Wilbur.
Between there.
Are we close?
Letter written. We're not doing anything.
Okay. So we'll call to order the regular meeting of the Tracy City Council for February 12th. Let's say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stay standing, please, for the invocation.
Hi. It's my great pleasure today to pray for our city council, to pray for the people who are leading our community, but also just for our community in general. And I wanted to read to you one of my favorite passages out of James chapter 1. If any of you lacks wisdom, he should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to him. I think wisdom is something that we need as leaders in general, more than passion, more than even intelligence, wisdom. And so today I want to ask God on your behalf for wisdom. Almighty God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for our safety in the cold and on the roads on the way here. We pray, Lord, that you would be with our city, that you would be here in the city of Tracy, and that you would bring us wisdom, that you would give the leaders of our city wisdom, and that you would help us to be a city that can do good in this area of Minnesota and in the world as a whole. So we just ask for your presence to be here tonight and your guiding hand to be over us all. Amen.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes from January 22nd. Is there any, we need to change about those, or do we have
On the
something?
second page of the minutes, the last paragraph, Mayor Ferrazano wasn't here to call the public hearing. You did that. That's the only thing I found.
Okay, anything else?
Make a motion to approve it, correct?
Second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the agenda for today. Anything we need to add or delete?
Nope, I have nothing.
Second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Identity of any conflicts of interest for today's meeting? Okay, anybody from the public want to comment on something that is not on the agenda for today? We're just moving right along. Well, we can't do the off-sale
Not yet.
till 7, so anybody here for reports? You don't have anything different, right? Paul, I guess you're up.
Okay. Originally I thought this was going to be part of the 7 o'clock thing, but that's cool too.
Oh, do you want to wait? We can do the
Nah.
rest. Are you sure?
We'll just go. I can talk for an hour, and by that time it'll be at 7 o'clock, and, we'll be pretty close and so forth. Well, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Paul Kapsack. I'm the Executive Director of the Minnesota Municipal Beverage Association. And what we are is that we are the trade association that represents cities with municipal liquor operations. The city of Tracy is a member of our organization, and that is and so the city has asked us to make some comments and to help you with your liquor operation. One of the things that makes us different and so all of this is free, it's all part of your dues. One of the things that makes us different than other trade associations is that we get actively involved in our member operations. So we're always talking about markups and gross profits and inventory turns and so forth. And so, be sure you spell my name right, okay, whatever you do, just, okay? So anyway, and so this is not our first rodeo. I've been doing this for 30 years. And so we talk about wisdom. One of the things I've learned is the older I get, supposedly I think I get a little bit of wisdom. And so what I want to do is kind of share some of that with you along the way. So when it comes to and so we were asked, I think originally I emailed Shane because I saw an article in the paper back in December or something. And so this is my second time in the last couple of months that I've been down here. The first meeting was with your liquor committee. One member of my board of directors, Nanette Service, is the manager in Olivia. And again, she's on our board of directors. And it's interesting, we were just talking the fact that when she took, what happens is I actually helped hire her too, which is kind of weird, and now she's my boss. But one of the things that happened and the reason that that's relevant is that one of the reasons we hired her was because Olivia was in deep financial straits. And so Nanette came in, there was a process, there was one council meeting away from getting out of the business, going back and forth on various things, and so Nanette took over. She'd been working at the store, and now they're doing a great job. So I guess the point is that some of you may think, and I have no idea if they're all here for this or not, that you've tried everything, it's the end of the world, there's no hope for this liquor operation. And the fact of the matter is that you really haven't tried anything over the past few years. Is that in taking a look at the situation, there are serious issues that can be corrected. Okay, it's going to take some time with inventory control, with buying, with purchasing, with pricing, with strategy, with just about everything, across the board. And I'm going to be honest with you. We've been dealing with this in a month. This is her third trip down. Again, this is my second trip. We can't change 5 years in 1 month, okay? But we have made some progress in moving forward in making this. There is absolutely, positively, no reason that a population of 2,000 cannot successfully support a liquor store run by the city or run by anybody else. This place is New York City with a population of 2,000. You can take New York City and London and Paris and put all that population together. In comparison, that's what this is compared to some of the stores that we have in our membership that are running successful liquor operations. And so Nanette can talk to you whenever you decide you want to do it. She can come in and talk about some of the things that she's been talking about on her trips down. Rosemary has been involved in some of the initial things that we've been talking about. She can talk to you, about those things. Now, to be honest, I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm trying to tell you what you need to hear, also be assured. If you get out of the business, my salary doesn't go up. If you stay in the business, my salary doesn't. It doesn't matter. Okay, my job is to help you succeed. In the month that we've been doing this, there are some obstacles, okay? And the big obstacle, though, is the fact that everybody is not on board with what we're doing. This isn't our first rodeo. Those who have listened to us have succeeded. Those who have not listened to us have failed. And it's not brain surgery, okay? There's nothing revolutionary about any of this. But some people are not on board. Some of you are not on board. That's fine. The manager isn't totally on board with what we're talking about and the things that we're talking about and the ways to move ahead. That is an issue that has slowed some progress and is a concern in moving forward. I think if that this facility can turn around and you can make money, which will then benefit the citizens of the community. Remember, if you get out of the business and you go and you get liquor licenses, it's statutory about how much you can charge for a liquor license. Roughly about, and Matthew can, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $300, $400. It's all based on population. Yeah, you will pick up some taxes, okay, with that, but that's it. in moving forward, for this to be effective, and to deal with you know, the people not being on board, I think your liquor committee needs to become more active. Your liquor committee needs to meet at least once a month. In this early stages, it would be great if it was twice a month, but once a month we'll go with that. And that your manager needs to do a bullet point report to the city council, to not only to Shane, but to all of you on a weekly basis about what's going on, about what progress has been made, what challenges are out there. Doesn't have to be long and extravagant. It's just boom, 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 and that way you, as a council, you don't have time to run a liquor store. Okay, you got other things to do, but it's your job to have oversight, and that helps you keep you in the loop on about what's going on. And then the liquor committee can talk about the various issues that are being that need to be addressed. The liquor committee needs to hold the manager accountable for implementing those changes and moving the operation forward. And so, in moving forward, that's what will go on. Because I'm here to help you as much as we can. Nanette is here to help you as much as we can. But ultimately, we're still going home. Okay? And those types of struggles and daily things, need to be handled by the city. And so the best way to do that is through your liquor committee, with your manager, and moving forward and keeping all of you in the loop. So in a nutshell, that's the big kind of overview of the whole situation. Does anybody have any questions? Man, that must have been overwhelming. Well, then what we're going to do, and I guess I'll include her in part of my presentation. We have time to kill anyway. Not necessarily that, but at least we'll keep the agenda moving. Okay. On that, why don't we have Nanette? Why don't you come on? Come on up. What the strategy that we came up with, and we do this with other cities. At the last liquor committee meeting that I was attended, was to help your manager on a regular basis talk about to address inventory control and a lot of other intricate things. And since Olivia's just down the road, we kind of partnered her up as kind of a mentor, and she can talk about the things that we've accomplished already in the first month, and then I can kind of tell you about, after that's done, I'll tell you a little bit about what happened at the wine club, or the wine event that was recently held, kind of the strategy behind that, what happened, the purpose of it, and so forth, some of those things going forward. So.
Good evening. My name is Nanette Service. I'm the manager of the Olivia Liquor Store. And as Paul said, I'm also a director on the MMBA board. I have made 2 trips down here to Tracy to work with Sandy. One was as of last Tuesday, and one was a few weeks prior to that. The thing that I noticed when I first went in was her pricing. And that's the thing that we've really focused on in the last couple of weeks, are trying to get the pricing, the markups where they should be, the pricing situated the way it should be. She really wants to compete with the Marshall store, which she can't. This is a store of convenience for most part. It's not a Marshall store. You can't compete with the buying power that Marshall has, nor can she compete with the customer count that Marshall has. But, you're thirsty after the council meeting. Are you going to go to Marshall for a package of beer or a bottle of wine or anything like that? No, it's convenience. And that's what we need to try to get on board, is that it's convenience. It's a local entity that can be profitable. I understand that Marshall is 25 miles away. My closest competition is Wilmer, 25 miles away. And I hear it all the time from customers in the beginning. But as I've tried to be price competitive, but yet I still can't match their prices, then I'm starting to hear more and more that, yeah, really, your prices aren't that much different. So that will turn around, but it's going to take time. And so what I've tried to get her to work on is pricing. $49.99 prices, that kind of thing, and making sure her markups are where they want to be. One particular example that we just talked about last week was her Captain Morgan mag. She wants to be competitive in that price range, and I said, how are you buying it? So she had recently brought in 6 cases, and she was selling it at a markup like she had paid less for it than what she had paid. So she wasn't getting the full mark that she could be making on that. And because she wants to try to compete with Marshall. that's all well and good. Then you need to find a way to compensate for that price. You either buy it and buy it like they're buying it, which she will not be able to go through it that fast, or you group purchase, which is perfectly legal, and try to get it and break that 25 case deal, whatever that case deal might be, down into a smaller increment that she can handle to be able to sell it for that price. You know, different things like that. So that's what we've really been working on a lot. We talked a little bit about aesthetics in the store as far as how can you, you know, when's the last time you did a reset in the store? How can you change that up and make it more interesting for the customer? The beer cooler, we've talked a little bit about that because the rollers are uneven and the packages are lopsided, and it's like, okay, what can we do to even this out and make it a little bit more appealing presentation for the customer? Because all of that makes a difference. So that's really where I'm sitting right now. The other thing that we've talked briefly about are some reports that she can pull to look at the data and make sure that she has her pricing structured where she needs to have it, so she's getting the gross profit that she needs to be making. The average for the state is 25% roughly. So that's really where we're trying to make sure everything is getting into that on average. So any questions I can answer based on that information?
How long did it take you to turn the Olivia one around?
I took over management in July of 2013. We did some cosmetic changes to the store that needed to be updated. So we were really, 2014, we definitely saw a turnaround where like a $60,000 difference in the black versus what it had been. And every year since, it's been the same, if not more. So it really didn't take a huge amount of time, and what I really focused on was, but we needed time. I needed a full year at least to make some of those changes to get my pricing structured the way it needed to be structured, like what we're working on with Sandy right now, to be smarter about buying. You know, don't just bring it in 1 or 2 cases if I can buy more cases, or where can I find the cheapest price on it, that kind of thing. You know, there are some restrictions for certain things, but there aren't on other things. So that's what we have to look at, and just to analyze that information. So, but it does take time. But it also was bullet point reports that I was doing every week, if not every other week, to my city council, my city administrator. You know, how I was scheduling. We really looked at how I was scheduling staff. We looked at the hours, and that's one other thing too that we talked about were the hours, and I know that Sandy has changed the hours of opening at 10 a.m. Still closing at 10 p.m. I understand you're not open on Sundays. We also discussed maybe Monday through Wednesday, maybe you don't have that much of a traffic pattern from 9 to 10 p.m. at night, so maybe it's okay to close at 9 and save some staffing hours there and some money there, different things like that. So she's got reports. She knows how to pull those reports off of her system to track the productivity and that kind of thing. So that was one thing I left her with as far as a task to take over and look at that for the next time that we met and chatted about things. So, anything else?
So another thing that happened was the choice of product, and a lot of times people leave for other competition because they're not getting what they want here. And so one of the things, and part of the whole strategy in trying to increase sales, but also into more profitable items, is to focus and move people towards wine, towards craft beer, and so forth. So one of the things that we've been working with vendors across the state for years and years and years are doing wine club wine events. So you had your first wine event a couple of weeks ago. There were 10 people there, and some people may say, well, big deal, there's 2,000 people, there were 10 people there. Well, to be honest, it was kind of a rushed thing, okay? There wasn't a lot of time to put it together, but we went forward and did that. So representatives from St. Michelle Winery, based in Washington, came down here and did a wine event for 10 people. And so at that, and it found out that we did it on a Wednesday. That probably wasn't the best night to do it. I guess a lot of people sing in the choir on Wednesday night, so we kind of did that. But that's what I'm saying is that, you know, we learned from that. And so in that wine event, we ended up selling a case and a half of wine. taking orders for a case. And you may say, well, that's not very much. Well, we've got to remember that that's a case and a half of wine that nobody was going to sell before. And if Sandy did it right and promoted it and marketed it within the store, she'd been able to keep up the momentum for another couple of weeks for those people that weren't able to do that. So we learned that in future events that we need to check on the date. There was kind of an inkling for sweeter wines, which is not uncommon. And so I've given, to be honest, Rosemary's been my main contact with this. So I gave her a winery that's up the road, Crow River, and who focuses more on the sweeter wines to go and do the next, event once that gets set up. The next thing was that there was a clamoring within the community for craft beer. What happens is the trend in the business is that the Coors Lights and Miller Lights and Bud Lights and all those types of things, the sale of those products is what pays the bills. You make the money in craft beer. So there was an inkling to, inkling's the wrong word, but there was interest in doing a craft beer. So we've been working on a craft beer event with Ball Brothers.
Ball Brothers out of Marshall.
Out of Marshall. And so cities, like I said, who are much smaller than this have had success with it. Nanette has had success with it. So again, the idea is to have an event like that and drive sales to the liquor store. Now the benefit of all of this, in addition to all of that, is that it benefits the facilities that these events are being held at. So the wine event, and I can't remember all the names, but I mean, a wine event was held at the local restaurant, where they were able to, not only get people to come in their restaurant for before and after. There's some incidental stuff, along the way, cheese and crackers and so forth. You can extend that out in future event. People have done dinners and all of those types of things. So everybody walked away with that thing being really positive. On the craft beer thing, the same type of thing is going to happen. That may turn into, and I just kind of let people run with it, that may turn into more of a sampling type of event, where, okay, we're going to have, chicken taco things with one beer and then Thai something or other, I don't know, whatever. And chocolate cake and trust me, deep chocolate cake with a deep porter is really good, with a big dark beer. I had one the other night. It's great. So those types of things. And again, so that not only benefits the store, it benefits the community as well. So that's the type of thing and it's those incidental sales, that add up. Is this hard? No. Is it work? Yeah, it is work. But it's no different than that's the way any private, municipal, either one of them. Those are the things you do to be successful in 2018. Questions, comments, or complaints?
Go back to your first comment about everyone not on board.
Yes, sir.
I know you said council, not all of the council's on board. Could you jump into that a little deeper for me? I mean,
Without calling anybody out? Sure.
Yeah, don't bother me, gonna call.
Well, no, I'm not gonna. I don't know you, and go ahead.
It doesn't serve any purpose to call anybody out, but
Right.
whatever.
Exactly. That's why I don't want to do it. Yeah.
It's whatever you want to do. More definitions is what I'd like to have on that, right?
There doesn't seem to be a unified effort by everybody involved to understand that the old way wasn't working, the old way was wrong, that the old way needs to be changed, and that there needs to be support and a togetherness moving forward as a community, as a council, as a liquor store operation, in order to make money to ultimately benefit the citizens of the community. And So I think that, and there isn't one specific thing. It's just that through various channels, that's the impression that I've gotten. I don't know if I answered your question without calling people out.
Yeah, you did.
And that's what it's going to take.
Anybody else?
And I'm gonna throw on something like that too. It's just, let me tell you why people get out of the liquor store business. They get out of the liquor store business for one of three reasons. Number one is the town is evaporating. That's not happening here, but you get to other parts of greater Minnesota, it's just gone. You lose an employer and the town is just going away. In a small percentage, there is a political agenda. Either people think government shouldn't be in business, the store could be making $1 million a year and you shouldn't be in it, or there's some other thing where somebody is really wants a private individual wants a liquor license, and things are happening in order to give that, to make that private person happy. The third thing is, and this is what 95% of it is that not keeping up to date on current trends, and having management, and this is what happened in Olivia, having management that wouldn't keep up to date with what was going on. It dragged on, and the council for so many years was unwilling to do something about it, and then the facility kept losing money, and again, they were one council meeting away from them saying, we're not going to fire this guy and hire somebody new. But they finally got it together and said, we're going to get rid of this guy and hire it. And I'm not saying that that's what you should do here. Let me be clear. I'm not here to get anybody run off. I am not here to do any of that. What I am saying is that if we need to have a together moving forward attitude. The old ways don't work. If I hear one more thing about competing with Marshall and that we can't do it, I'm going to punch a hole in a wall somewhere, okay? It exists, okay? It's 20 miles away. I've got smaller stores. Some of you may have heard about Total Wine in Minneapolis, coming in and being, I got stores competing with them. I got stores around the state that make Tracy look like London, New York, and Paris put together, who are selling products lower and making more money than Total Wine is. That's the type of thing. And so this is what's going on out there, and there is absolutely no reason that a municipal operation can't make as much money as a private operation. There's only one difference, legal difference. Municipal has 30 days to pay for their beer, private has to pay COD. Other than that, the rules of the game are the same. You may not choose to do things because you want to reflect a community attitude, but the rules of the game are the same. And we've got some of the best operators around. We got some of our own dogs too. The fact of the matter is that when we have a dog, we try to do something about it. Private guy down the street, a municipal gets out of the business, and they say, see, government shouldn't be in business. Private guy down the street turns over 10 times, nobody even blinks. We have now private guys who are coming to our conferences and looking for information from us, because they're recognizing that it's a changing environment and times have changed. And like I said, let me be clear. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just saying that that through multiple sources, that's the conclusion I've come to. Now, if it's wrong, but that's, again, that's.
With your experience then, how important is location in overall total sales? There'd be no question in my mind that location is an important factor of it. Those people that get out of the on-sale business like you did, which is fine, just to let you know, Olivia got out of the on-sale business too. But normally what happens when they get out of the on-sale business, there's an associated shift to something. Either the facility gets really expanded or they move on to a highway. So to deny the fact that location isn't, an issue is, sure, it's a challenge, but then I'll tell you what, one of the problems, or one of the things that cities face is the balance between the highway and downtown.
There's some people that would do better, and I'm not saying what you should do here. I'm just saying that in some places, it would be much better off. I'll talk about Montevideo, okay? For years and years and years, Montevideo was tucked down into this hole kind of place in part of town. They wanted to move up towards the highway because that's where all the business was going. Eventually, they got there. But for years and years and years, it was, no, we don't want to take another business from downtown. So yes, it is critical. There's absolutely no question about it. Yet cities face into that. Anything else?
Well, thank you so much,
Cool.
you guys.
Thank
for
you.
coming down.
Good timing.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job, Paul. It is now 7 o'clock.
So you guys just think I'm a pretty face. No. Cool.
We will have the public hearing for the, whether to operate the, keep operating the off sale. Anybody in the public want to talk?
My name is Rosemary Martin. I'm from Tracy, and I serve on the Liquor Committee. And we are working on the events. We are working with the Brow Brothers, and I see a lot of excitement there going on with this event. If we go forward with our plan, we'll be the first liquor store in southwestern Minnesota that is able to offer craft beers in a build-your-own six-pack type sale. I'm liking the coordination and the communication between all the different people, the liquor store, the caboose, Bonnie and Clyde's, we're all in it together, and I would expect next year we would be seeing a profit in our liquor store if we keep it going, and a lot more unification in our community as a result of this endeavor.
Thank you. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Pam, could we have a report or summary on the liquor store finances for last year and the year before and the year before that?
That would be a you question, Shane.
Well, what I have, it's not broken down, but in front of you is the year end 2017. If you look at the second page,
But this isn't all of you, 217, is it?
pretty much.
Not
The
December.
last statement isn't balanced yet. There could be a little bit of adjustment, but we're talking hundreds of dollars, not thousands, so. And then 2016, we had a loss of 30,000, 2017. So I could, being we closed out, after we closed out 2017, we were not able to go back to 2015, but I can probably find a backup copy, and
Well, that's fine too.
I do know we were in the black in 2015.
It wasn't my budget, but yeah, I remember it being
And if I, Madam Mayor, if I could, I don't know, is Gatsby included in the thing? There's a concept out there, there's an accounting thing called Gatsby. Gatsby 68. And to make a long story short, it's an accounting thing. And so the accountants all got together and decided that that cities need to allocate somewhere money for, on paper, okay, so they don't have to set it aside, and it's not protected or anything that they have to keep it there forever, okay, but they have to account for if the pension system, PRA, explodes, okay? And so if that happens, if that happens, then it's going to be a bigger problem than any city is going to be able to handle. And so you're doing it right now with all of your full-time employees. They're going somewhere. People are putting that Gatsby allocation into the liquor store report, and so when you take a look at the income expense reports, it's like depreciation, okay? It's just on paper, okay? So it is possible to show an increase amount of money in the bank, but show a paper loss. The city of Plainview, Minnesota, actually made roughly $30,000, $40,000, give or take. They had to show a $66,000 loss. I was in the city of Proctor a couple of weeks ago talking about this very issue. They had an increase in their cash balance of $30,000, but they showed a significant loss on paper. So, you're taking a look at the financial reports, you need to take that into consideration. We are going to be working on legislation to not to say don't account for it, because account for it, but not have that included in the amount that you send, or the report that you send in the cities. And that reflects what the Department of Education is doing. Okay, the Department of Education has to, all the school districts and so forth need to report, their finances to the Department of Education, so everybody can look at it and say, well, do we need more money, or, do we need another, referendum, or do we need another whatever, okay? And they're saying, well, instead of doing that, let's not include that, so we get a better accurate, reflection of what's actually being, what the income is and what the spending is. So it's not something that we all of a sudden have made up. It's something that's impacted cities, and like I said, the Department of Education was the first one to say, when you're making this report that you need to make, don't include GASB in those calculations. So I don't know what it is in Tracy. Maybe you didn't even know about it. Maybe you didn't even know about it. But that's, that could be possible.
Anybody else want to talk about the liquor store?
So, just to be clear, the liquor store has lost money in the last 2 years, and that is why that triggered the requirement for having this public hearing. Is that correct? 2 out of the last 3 years.
We're actually not required to have it yet, Seth. I think you gotta go 3 years before you have to have one. We're just trying to be proactive on it. 3 years of loss, I believe, is
Okay, it's not 2 years out of the last 3 years?
2 out of the last 3, okay. The 14 was,
Well, that wouldn't count.
15, 16, and 17 would be the last 3 years.
okay,
Yep.
all right,
And the last 2 would be the lost
the
years.
loss, okay.
When was the last time that the liquor store transferred money to the general fund?
It's been quite a while.
Not in 16 or 17.
Wasn't 15 either. Yeah, I think that was the last one, was 13. 14 they were able, but they held on to it to pay for the roof.
And what about 15?
15 was the roof, wasn't it?
Or it had been 14's money, 15 roof, yeah.
So how do we have to proceed, Matt?
Well, tonight, the council may, it's not required to pass a resolution to have the election held, to have the public decide whether they want to continue or discontinue the operation of the off sale. You're not required to tonight, but if you decide to vote to pass that resolution, then that question is presented to the public for election.
That would be at the next general election.
Next general election, correct?
And you'd only need, in order to do that, you'd only need 30 days to get it on the ballot, is that right? Or 40?
74 days, just like a
74?
regular election.
Oh, it's November. That would be November.
Yeah, there would be sufficient.
That would be
amount of time.
74 days.
So,
we don't have to decide till like September 1st, roughly.
Correct.
yeah.
You have the public hearing tonight, and that allows you to make the decision to pass a resolution if you so decide.
Or you have, if I remember right, you got to declare like a public necessity, or, come up with a plan in order to turn it around without doing the resolution, is that it? Or- Well, we did this once before. And instead of passing a resolution for bringing it to the vote, we went and changed margins, worked hours. It was back when Ron was there. And actually brought it around some. So
Yeah, I'm not a lawyer, but I've been dealing with it for 30 years, so that keeps me, and I have an MBA, but not a law degree, but, you know. No, I mean, tonight, your requirement is to have the public hearing. So you could just end it all right now and move forward. If you, you could wait, you know, whatever the deadline, if it's 30 days before the election or whatever that time frame is, you can go and you can see where you're at then. You could, you know, you could wait to that. You could, based on what you've heard today, if you want to, you know, at your next council meeting, you want to throw in a thing and have a council vote about whether or not you want to get out of the business, you can certainly do that. There are cities over time who have getting back to those 3 reasons, there are cities who have been making money who've decided to get out of the business. So, you know, that's an option for you too. So you fulfilled your requirement from the 2 out of the 3 years. Where you go from here, you know, is up to you.
I'm fine with that. We don't have to do it.
Well, and I seriously,
Well, wait, are we done with the public comment?
well, oh, that's right, I suppose I can't talk until, anybody else want to talk about the liquor store? Okay, so this is my feeling though, it's kind of silly to even be thinking about like trying to get out of it yet until we actually take a couple months to implement some of these changes and give it a try before, and then you need to put it above the public before we even do anything, as far as my opinion is.
Well, I would certainly hate to pull the plug on it without having a plan or an attempt. I mean, if there's nobody willing to build a new building, start a new job, and take it over the day that one locks up, they unlock and open up, until that, I wouldn't even consider closing, until that came
Yeah,
about.
because if that happens, if you close it before that
Yep.
happens,
So-
they're gonna buy their liquor someplace else and they won't go to whoever started a new
And
one.
there's nobody gonna be able to jump right in it in the next 6 weeks to.
Yeah.
So I think, in my opinion, to move ahead with what the recommendations are, see if we can turn it around, see if we can get it going, and be open to everything. I mean, I don't wanna see it leave. It
Yeah.
just, it would be,
When does that break?
You're looking at a target date, and so for whatever reason, decide to place it on November ballot, August, somewhere around late August to early September.
but even if we chose not to put it on the ballot, we could still continue
Correct.
the way we
Yep.
are, so it, and then we could take the input from the public that, you know, they didn't show up here. If they really want a public hearing on it or a vote on it, we could, you know, we can bring it to a vote. If they vote to keep it, we're gonna, there you have it. I mean, so it's,
You have some time to work with,
Yeah.
to see how things change or not change, and how the city
And like you
wants to-
said, even if we have, when did you say, August?
It'll be end of August,
Well, that's only
Like
5 months.
September-
It's not
September
gonna
1st.
happen.
somewhere around
It
there.
would not happen,
no, there's a lot of time to
There's-
turn things around between now and then, and, you know, you're moving into that time of year where you catch them on the way to the lake or whatever. So I don't think there's any urgency to lock the
no,
place
I
up.
don't think so either.
I think we need to get on top of some of these suggestions and check our margins and do a better job of marketing things and, or before we log it. But if something better comes along, we have that opportunity to do that
Entertain
too.
it,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm firmly committed to see what's happening and hopefully it gets better.
Okay, then we will move on to the administrator update.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
if you
Thank you for
need,
coming.
if you need anything, you know where to find me. If anyone wants to talk to me or send me an email, generally everybody's got my card. But sorry to drag you down for 1 more second.
That's all right.
Thank you.
You guys are good.
Yes.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Service, okay. Okay, thank you. I got it. Thank you.
The administrator update.
I just included that recent timeline that I received from Wendell for your review.
I'd asked for that to be on. We hadn't heard anything from him, and we talked about if you had heard anything, you reached out to him. Is he getting any more applications? Is he getting?
I've had a few calls and a few emails that have come in, you know, where they didn't know where to send their application, forward them on, but really, he hasn't said anything as far as
Yeah, and when's the last time we've had communication with him? It's been a while, hasn't it?
November? End of November,
Yeah, he didn't
December?
make the December meeting, so yeah.
Yeah.
I brought it up, I wanted to keep on top of it because things getting ready to roll into the busy
Well,
season.
and
so.
personally, I'm kind of wondering what he's actually doing for us.
Well, the upside is we're not spending a lot of money on it. The other end of it is they're basically going through all the resumes and applications, you know, to weed out some stuff, so we don't have to do it. They're supposed to bring us the top three. Isn't that what it was? It was three?
Top 6, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 6 that we were looking for. Maybe we need to, and we had talked one day too, maybe we need to go through our guidelines of what we're all looking for, because is what we're looking for feasible in our world? And are we ever gonna find anybody?
With our budget, too.
Okay, that's where the three came from.
With the budget, the
That's-
guidelines? and
Yeah,
what-
because you gotta,
It's 3 years and plus a master's or bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
Most of them go for 6 figures a year. I mean,
unless they're straight out of school, so, yeah. It's or want a place to come to retire or go home to and stuff, so they,
yep.
it would be nice to know how many he's got that he would consider qualified. And then if able, if he's confident enough in them, pull the trigger and move his timeline up a little bit. So I think we haven't advertised until filled, correct? Yeah.
But according to the timeline, he wanted to reopen it
Yeah, no,
after the election.
yeah.
It seems like a lot of time there for opening and closing and just reviewing them that he had in the,
Yeah, he's got a month for, yeah. I'd be curious to know what he has.
Well, and like Shane and I were talking, it's like, he's gotten emails from people that applied like in October.
And
You
never got
can't
anything.
drag them on, and then he's gotten a few nasty emails about how long they've drug him on for, and that you
I
can't.
just passed those along.
Well,
Yeah, it's like,
when he took that original number and went through and said none were qualified, didn't he notify them people?
I think he left them in the mix, or no, but is kind of what I understood, but I don't know if he has or not.
But if they didn't meet the criteria, why would you call them back and say,
Notify them.
thanks, but no
Yeah.
thanks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
but was he hanging on to them thinking he was gonna get some more, and then he's got these people dragging on, and,
Yeah, but
That's- we
he
should
went
find
through
that
his,
out.
yeah.
yeah.
Because he said he went through his qualifications and he wouldn't recommend anybody. So you should go back to those people and say, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, you should. We
Yeah.
should find out if that's been done.
And if he did, yeah, otherwise that's putting a black mark against us for anybody else ever coming down the pike too.
Okay, should we move on to the EDA?
Yeah. I
Approval?
think Danny's here. Do you want to do it, Danny?
I guess,
Or I can.
I can maybe, I don't know what the question was.
We're talking about
Well, there isn't
the sale of the,
of the
Oh, of the
Third Street.
East,
Third Street, yeah.
Third Street.
of the Eastview Apartments?
Yep.
I'm sorry, I guess I'm unprepared, but what were the
That was just
questions?
our update. We talked about at the last meeting that we've
Oh.
got I mean, I can do it if you want me to do it.
Yeah, well, we can tag team there.
All right.
Yes, we received an offer, $287,500, as I recall. And with that was 3 years of 100% tax abatement. Well, 18 and then 19 and 20. Closing date will be on or before April 1st.
April 1st is what they wanted, but we've got to do that. That should give us enough time to do a public hearing. That's why we need to bring it up.
Okay, sure.
And
It requires
if-
public hearing
abatement is just for a 2-year of the cities.
on reading the city.
It was a 3-year, but we talked them into 2.
Into 2, yes, yes.
So that's for that we need to, is it 30 days?
At least 30 days.
So the next,
And that'd be
Into
similar
March.
to, I believe, the Fifth Street,
Yep.
the abatement that was passed in that last year, last fall.
similar, but it's less time and it's less money. It's just a full city portion for 2 years. So.
But something the council's similar.
Right, yep, it fit within the guidelines. So it's,
Do we do it on the 12th, or do we have to wait till the 26th?
that's what I was wondering. Probably it'd be the 26th.
Yeah, 'cause the 12th is only 28 days.
Mhm.
So it'd have to be March 26th.
So if you have the hearing on March 25th, can we meet that desired closing date of April 1st then?
As long as everything else is prepared.
Yeah,
Every-
they
okay.
should be- And they picked up the abstracts to get them ready, so
Uh-huh.
it shouldn't be anything but,
Purchase agreements and reviewing title,
yep,
that shouldn't be an issue. And then just having the funds available,
Okay, so
that should be a workable time.
that we,
doable.
everything will fit within that timeline of meeting the April 1st closing date.
Yeah, so once passed, the abatement will be effective, which is certified to the auditor. But that'll be in effect for the 2018 year.
Taxes payable in
Yes.
2018. Yeah,
Should be workable timeline.
okay, that'll work. Anything else then in dealing with that sale?
not with that sale.
We should get a motion in a second for that.
I would make a motion for a public hearing
Okay.
on the 26th of March at 6:45 for the sale of the 3rd Street fourplexes to include a 2-year tax, city tax abatement. This condition is safe.
The tax abatement is just on the city portion of the real estate
Right.
tax. We don't have anything to say about the school district or the county.
Correct.
Yes.
Do we have a second on that?
I'll second that.
First and second, all of them say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now, do you want to talk about the loan? The EDA loan?
We approved a loan for a downtown business
Oh.
in the amount of $25,000. The business would like to make the formal announcement when they want to open and what they're going to be called, but that's out of the EDA's revolving loan fund.
Yes.
Approved at $25,000. That's waiting on a contract.
Yeah, I think that what I heard Friday was that that process was moving forward.
Yeah.
They haven't hit any glitches yet. So, looks like we'll be assisting somebody to buy a building downtown.
So that's, we'll be able to maintain 2 businesses downtown based on the information we'll be able to pass along back and forth to 2 different groups. So
Yeah.
the EDA is getting some nice things done.
Good.
Jeff Carpenter, he came on board with, well, basically
December
back
1st.
in November, officially December 1st, and he's really got things moving. A lot of things are kind of in the embryo stages, but they could be significant for the community if they fall into place for us. So we're looking forward to an exciting year.
That's money well invested there.
Yes. Yes, so. Anything else?
That does it.
Should do it.
Very good. Well, thank you.
Thanks,
you.
Danny.
Do we have to do anything for that loan? Anything?
Hospital Commission?
I don't know if you guys all got a chance to read my memo. Just, we had 2 openings coming up with the hospital commission. I'm just wondering if the council wish to maintain that board, now that the city really don't have ownership in it, other than, we do have that $1 million fund set up for the hospital. I don't know if you want to stay involved, being that's out there, but just wondering, being there's 2 openings there, if.
One of the caveats of the sale was that the hospital had to maintain a community board. And Steve, Mayor Ferguson, wanted to make sure that the mayor stayed on the board, just to keep in touch. And the other requirements were driven by the charter when the city owned the hospital, and that would take a charter change to remove the additional council member from that, but
I don't think this board
no,
is on the charter.
no, but there's supposed to be 2 council members on that board. So, but who fills them should be up to the hospital board to accept them, as long as it's
So
not in
continue.
violation of the charter.
Okay, so we'll continue to advertise for the open positions then. Okay.
How many people are on that board?
There's 5 people on 3-year terms. There's 1 opening right now and 1's coming due, so.
When does that board meet? Just whenever?
Quarterly now, it was
Yeah.
the first Wednesday of every month at Old Dark 30.
Okay, as long as you tell me when I'm supposed to be there.
Stacy should contact.
Okay. Shane, do you have microphone updates for us?
Yeah, I kind of threw a little memo in there for that. Just kind of curious how much you want to spend on this system. If we want to completely update the main panel in that room and new microphones, or if you want to just try new microphones. I just don't want to.
Can we do new microphones and keep what we have, or
We can. That would be the cheaper route.
and would that be a microphone at every spot in there?
Well, it'll be as many as we have now, because we're maxed out right now we can only have 6 total. As far as the speaker goes, I'm not finding any manuals on that old system, whether you can have a additional speaker back there so people can hear better. But the newer systems do have that capability. So just kind of throw it out there so you kind of know, which way you want to go.
If I'm reading this right, for about $2,500, you upgrade everything with new microphones?
In the hearing
Right.
assistants. Those are original too, so.
And if you go with the newer system, you should be able to put a microphone in every seat?
Yeah, if we get those extra channels,
Yeah.
we can do that.
So what is it to do like an upgrade new microphone and everything? That's not the 2,500, is it?
That would be a microphone with the main unit in there. I think that one did come with the speaker and the hearing assistance.
And that would have to come out of the administrative budget, or did that come out
Probably.
of council? Or
Yeah.
equipment-
Nothing was really budgeted there, so I don't know if you wanted to just try a few or try to go switch the whole system, or
Can we get somebody to let us test it?
possible.
With the possibility of buying it, or then, because if we go about it just putting new microphones in, it doesn't make diddly difference,
And we're not,
then we're,
Right.
but if somebody would let us try it, does it make a complete difference and everything, or if we have to upgrade, what's the next step on it?
and I know I talked about this last time, that microphone up there is probably the best one we have, right there at the podium.
Yeah.
We might be able to find a couple of them around in the VMC. I think they all hook up the same. If you guys wanted to try that and see,
Or just have them like sit in front?
instead of these,
Yeah,
try it in 2 different areas.
because that picks up quite a bit.
Can't hurt.
Yeah, that one hurt.
You wanna
If
try
we
that
got-
first, or?
If we got 2 or 3 of those around, might as well try it.
Yeah. we're not out nothing then, so.
Yep.
Okay,
Do that first and
see how it goes.
Yeah,
the
find
next
2 or
meeting
3 of
then.
them.
Could round a few up.
So we need to set the local board of appeal date for April 23rd. Is that the one that counteracts?
That's when it conflicts with the council meeting.
Really, all the county has open is the
16.
Yeah, 16th and 23rd of April. The 23rd is the council meeting night, so we could move it to the 16th.
The 16th, we'd have to switch with another city, so the county will have to flop those on all of their information. Last year, it also fell on a council meeting night, and you switched the council meeting night.
I think it'd probably be easier to move the council meeting night, don't you think, than the
The county said they're willing to work with us this time. They generally don't like to change those dates because they're working with 9 other cities, and they just choose the date, and that's the date that you generally go with. I did talk with Sherry Kitchen Master, and she said she doesn't like to do it, but she will do it if that's what the council decides.
I think it's better for the council meetings to be held on their normally scheduled time than jumping around. I think if we give send our appreciation to the county for swapping with us and then letting them know that our meeting schedule is the second and fourth Monday for next year, then we can avoid the conflict.
Yep, and they are aware of that, but they are more concerned with, I mean, they have 9 cities, they can't accommodate everybody, so they just choose dates and go with it.
No, I know, but
So-
in the past, when they ran into conflicts with a council meeting, we always did, instead of a Monday, we did it on a Tuesday or a Wednesday for the Board of Equalization. It doesn't have to be on a Monday. So, I know that
So
the first
the
8 years of
dates
the
that
council,
they
we never
hold them
conflicted
on.
with the
So,
council meeting.
so we want to try for the 16th then?
Yes, if we can. Well, that's my opinion.
works for me.
Carolyn, you got the
You
other
want a
one?
motion?
They'll need a motion to set the
I
date,
should
yep.
have a motion for setting the date.
Do we have a motion for?
I would make a
Well,
motion
do
to
we-
set the Board of Appeal date for April 16th at 7 p.m.
But can we do that yet, without knowing that they're gonna be able
Yeah.
to do it?
Yeah, Sherry said to go ahead.
Okay.
I'll second it.
First and seconded, does we have any elevator to say aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Who is certified?
I am, and you can do it online. It's probably too
Are
late.
you
now.
certified, Tony?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so Pam, you are still certified, correct?
I think so, does it go
Because I know
away?
Steve, it was Steve and Pam. So if you're certified,
Yeah.
Tony, then we should be good.
Okay. Set canvassing date and call for special meeting.
So the 16th would be the earliest, which is Friday this week. The latest we could do it is the 23rd, which would be the Friday after that. We are closed on the 19th. So, if you guys want to decide which day works for you.
We'll do it on Friday night or Tuesday night.
You can do it anytime in between the 16th and the 23rd.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gone the 20th and 21st.
I'm not going anywhere, so it doesn't matter.
What is
Whatever, who's
canvass-
ever got the,
What is canvassing date?
what, you get the election results, and then the council approves them.
Okay,
Council canvasses the results.
okay.
So it's- I mean, I don't go anywhere, so.
And I don't know, can Tony be part of that?
I
Canvassing?
I intend to this summer, but it's only for a weekend, and I schedule around the council meeting.
I know.
Yeah, because
Now
we
I have
should
to-
have another,
Subject of
yeah.
the election.
Yeah, I don't think Tony can be part of the canvassing.
See, you can go on vacation.
That's why I said it doesn't matter to me.
Okay, so you're gone when, the 20th and 21st?
Yep.
So it takes out those, it takes out that one. Do you have any conflict?
Nope.
That week?
Pretty free till.
So this leaves us Thursday or Friday, right?
I don't know if you want to wait until Friday being the last day in case it snows. You're kind of cutting yourself
Okay,
a little
well,
short
How
there,
if we do it Thursday?
Tuesday the 22nd.
right?
That work for you guys?
Work should work for me.
What time?
It doesn't take long, so.
6 o'clock on the 22nd.
For you?
That work?
Yep. Do we need a motion for that? Yeah.
I'll make a motion to have the special meeting on February 22nd at 6 PM.
It's the canvassing.
Can't, I'm sorry.
First and second, and I'll say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So now we just need motions for the resolutions of approving the application for a gambling permit for the Minnesota waterfall.
I've done this in
SPN
the past.
here.
I'd make a motion to approve it.
I'll second that.
First and second, and I'll say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We need a resolution 2018-10 for the contract of the city of office mayor. What? Oh, that's my deal, isn't it?
Yeah, so similar to Councilmember Teague's contract that we had a few meetings ago. Pam, obviously you have to abstain,
Okay.
but that's just because the contract's less than $25,000, you have a financial interest. Abstain if the council approves that, then that can be approved, and then you just have to submit the required affidavit before the claim can be paid.
Okay. I don't have a claim out on
No.
No, but before,
that. This is
before it
just
is
for
paid,
if
you
Kendall
have to-
helps move snow.
Yep.
Yep.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2018-10.
I will second that.
All those favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Move on to the municipal accounts payable without breakthrough beverage.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second it, but I had one question under discussion. Marshall emergency room bill, is that,
What
that
is
should
it?
have been workman's comp, is that workman's comp, or is that,
I think
I'm
this
just-
is gonna take this
I don't
one.
wanna know who, or I just wanna know,
I believe the emergency room bill you're talking about with Avera is for
Yeah.
a blood draw on a DWI site.
okay, all right,
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
I've never seen one of them before, so I wanted to know.
Wild in the city department. Do we have a motion for that?
So we need to take a
Gotta
vote.
approve the first one.
Yep.
We did a motion, the second we gotta vote on
The one without breakthrough.
Dave first,
Oh,
Tony
yeah.
second, and
Well, that's what I was, yeah. Do we have a first and second?
Yep.
I'll just say aye.
it. Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar for breakthrough beverage, the Relief Association and the Planning Commission members.
You have to second it.
I'll
You would?
second.
First and second, and I'll say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Tracy Relief Association minutes we have in our packet. Planning Commission meeting, so we do them both at the same time?
I approved them, or we approved them in the last one, I threw in with them.
Oh, you threw it all in? Perfect. Any unfinished business? Then our new business is appointing a council member to replace Pamela Corman. What did the committee come up with for that?
Well, Koo and I interviewed, talked to 5 people. It was a real tough interview. Rosemary could attest to that. So did James. We basically just asked 4 questions, just to get to know people a little bit. People had some good ideas, some valid concerns. So, and we sat and met 2 nights to take care of meeting with everybody, mulled it over for 2 days, and we decided on.
We would like to appoint Jerry Sean to the vacant. Hopefully I pronounced the name right.
Yes, you did, actually. I think that is a wise choice.
So that's your recommendation?
Recommendation, sorry.
Okay. I would like to appoint Jerry Schoens to the council seat.
Second that?
You can just discuss it or make a motion to vote on it.
I think it's an excellent choice.
I don't envy your decision, or the ability to make the decision. I appreciate the decision you made. I would make the motion then to appoint Jerry.
I'll second it.
First and seconded, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any mayor council communications?
If nobody else has anything, I've got an issue I'd like to bring up.
Go right ahead.
I'm not very good at this, so I just go, I just say it. I don't believe in sugarcoating. There's been rumors running rampant about a couple of our department heads that are absolutely unfounded, unfactual, and have no business even being out in public. I would urge anybody who hears these rumors to squelch them. I would also like, when something like this comes up, in this age of social media, to have something come out from our city offices saying, hey, there's these rumors running around, they're not true, stop spreading them. There's too much stuff right now that's going on that's good. I mean, and it's awful hard to keep things going in the positive when they're always slinging mud on the negative side, and 99.9% of it is all false. I've heard it out there where they're saying, I've got it in for you, Shane. If you know me well enough, if I wanted, we'd have it out. I mean, it's that simple. I don't make threats. I don't spread rumors. If I hear of a rumor, I chase it down. But this rumor stuff has got to stop. We as a community have got to stop it. It just pains me. So, it's not true, and it needs to stop.
So the social media policy, I guess, what's our limitation on what we should post and what we shouldn't? I mean, I don't know.
If it's done in good taste and well, I'll use the rumors as an example. Any rumors you hear about so-and-so and so-and-so are completely unfounded, come talk to me. I mean, you don't need to spell out the details and let it continue fanning the flames, but come down and talk to, whoever's in charge. You're not going to be the administrator forever.
No.
So
I hope not.
So it just, talk to somebody on the council if you hear stuff like that. Let them know so they can put an end to it. It's just unproductive. It leaves a black eye in the community.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't need any more negativity.
No. So I'm off.
Thank you, Tony.
Anything else?
No. Anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Full strike next meeting.
What's that?
Full strike next meeting. Nice job on the interviews. I'm sure that was,
I
nice
know.
job, Dave. Sure wasn't easy.
Well, like I said, like I said, it was 4 simple little questions to get people to talk.
Yes.
Yep. That's the best way to see to know something.
Pictures on the wall, throwing darts.